Hey, Victoria, looking forward to our meeting. Wanted to make this quick video to just, I don't know, kind of maybe be more efficient with our time and get you to understand a little bit more about who we are, what we do, how we got here. Probably create an opportunity for you to ask some more probing questions and get to know us a little bit better. So we're not starting at zero when we meet. We got here it's an interesting chain of events. We got here partially because I sold a house right there in Willowdale on Beaupre, right down the street from where your wife grew up, and just had an awful experience with a real estate agent. And it was things that I've learned now that I'm in the industry. There's some things that real estate agents can't control, but there's a lot that they can. Um, and that horrible experience led us to get into real estate. And once we got into real estate, we our first listing that we ever took, we were failing as real estate agents. Our first listing that we ever took was a relocation referral, and I actually charged 7% on a really nice house, which is kind of ironic. The 1% list guy charged 7% on his first ever listing, but I did. But by the time I paid the relocation company 40%, my 3.5% went down to 2.1. And then by the time I paid Ladder and Bloom their 50% of what was left, because it was a relo referral, my 2.1 went down to 1.05. But the interesting thing is all the agents from that office just thought it was so amazing and so cool that I got this huge commission, but I didn't really get it. I didn't get all of it. And the same people that were telling me, great job, know your worth, get that fee up there, you're doing a great job, so on and so forth. Um, they were fighting for those reload deals. Like they all wanted the reload deals. And so it always shocked me how obsessed real estate agents seem to be with what they charge as opposed to what they actually make. And so after I took that listing and sold it, I pivoted my business and I started talking to home builders and offering them a better deal. And it worked incredibly well. I was the listing agent of the month for Ladder and Bloom the month that I left. I listed like 5 houses in a month, and I didn't get kicked out of the brokerage, but it was made known to me that like you're going to be known as a discount realtor. You're going to be known as a discount realtor, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to be known as a successful realtor. I'm going to be known as the realtor that has all the listings. And so, you can even look at your brokerage, like Christine, that is one of the biggest agents at your brokerage. Like, trust me, she's not charging all those builders 3% on the listing side that she works for. She's giving them a great deal. That's why they use her. And I found that to be a very viable strategy. Listings just create so many opportunities for you. Listings bring more listings. Listings bring buyers. Listings bring more stable income. Listings make it possible to enjoy more family time because you're not out there opening doors nonstop in the evenings and the weekends when you should be at Little League, or you should be enjoying an evening with your family or a date night. Now you can do those things with a lot of listings. You can't do those things with a lot of buyers. They will run you ragged. They need you to open doors for them when they get off work, and if you're not available to do it, they'll have somebody else do it. And it just turns into a rat race. And so we have agents like Stacia Lamull, April Horn, Michelle Palmer, Courtney Lorette, Carolyn Mall, Tessa Dempster. I can go on down the list, but they have anywhere from 15 to 40 active listings at all times. And what winds up happening is, yeah, they're only making 1% on those listings, but they're only working those listings for about 8 to 10 hours from the moment they get them until the time that they close. They're not doing open houses and broker tours nonstop to try to find their next client. That's really the only purpose of those open houses is, hey, get a client, get a client. When you're listing a house or two a week, you don't need to go find clients. It's not as necessary. Now, if you like doing them, do them. But the whole point of this is, while, yeah, we're making 1% on those listings turn into buyers, which pay us 2.5%, 3%. And that's where you do well. But this is not typically working with buyers that are, you picked up from Zillow or some other website and they're going to run you all over creation. Like these are people that you have their house listed, it's under contract, or it's feeling like it's going to go under contract soon. And so they need to buy a house so they don't move twice. We like that buyer. We just don't like chasing buyers and being buyer heavy. And after talking to you, when you're telling me that you were getting ready to partner with this other really big producer, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that the partnering is you're going to get the buyers and she's going to get the listings or get credit for the listings. And effectively, you're going to be building somebody else's business. And so if you look at it, if you're going to be partners with this person, and if you guys average, 2.5%, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, I'd love to hear about it when we actually get together, but I'm assuming you're probably going to be making less per deal than my typical agent. My typical agent's making 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, sometimes 1.9 on average per deal. And after talking to you, what it sounds like is you might be averaging less than that to help somebody else manage their business. And that's not a path to success. The path to success is listing a ton of homes. And the answer to listing a ton of homes is no different than the answer to recruiting a lot of agents. If you offer them a better deal, then they will join. It's not rocket science. I would, I like Eric. I think he's a good guy. And I know that a lot of people look up to Eric. But I personally believe that if Eric showed up and said, "Hey guys, I've decided that our splits are now going to be 60-40 and no one's going to cap," he's not going to get as many agents. A lot of agents are going to leave. That's just the reality. Um, you know, they go for great splits. It's what they do. And if you take those great splits away, then you lose agents. Um, the same is true for listings. If you offer people a better deal, you will list more homes. If you're a lender and you have an interest rate of 2.5%, and all the other lenders have an interest rate at 6%, 7%, you should do a lot more loans than they do. That's just the reality. The question is how do you make more money that way? And with us, you charge less to list houses. You generate a lot of buyers organically. That's the path to success. That's how we like to do it. Don't have to do it that way, but that's how we like to do it. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Looking forward to meeting your wife. I haven't seen her since she was really little. It's going to be interesting. And I welcome all your questions. I welcome all your concerns. Just see where it goes. And at the very least, after meeting, I think you will have found that, hey, what we're doing is different. It's interesting. It's different. You might decide it's not for you. You might decide it's for you. But at least you will have satisfied a curiosity. And you will leave there understanding that, trust me, we're not working way harder for less money. I've just run our numbers. Our average agent did 13 and a half transactions per agent last year. That's what we did. About 13 and a half deals per agent. Even at 1.7%, assuming all the other agents are making 2.7 on average, which I don't think they are. But assuming that means my average agent would finish right at 1,000th in New Orleans, meaning the top 1,000 out of 7,000 agents did better than my average agent. So just so you understand what I'm saying, there's 7,000 agents in Greater New Orleans. My average agent would be at 1,000. So my average agent is as productive as the top 1/7% of all agents when it comes to GCI. But that's the funny thing is we can earn more, we can be more productive, we can be all these things, but agents think we are working harder for less money and they are morally opposed to what we are doing. That's what makes it easier to grow because we don't exactly have a lot of competition. But Also, what makes it harder for people to consider doing what we do. So, kudos to you for being open minded and being an entrepreneur and looking at things differently. And I look forward to meeting you both. Have a great day.